Well, today is National Bandana Day. It is the 12th of October. I certainly hope that you are wearing your bandana as we are right here on the eXpresso set to show your support for those who are suffering from leukemia and for those who are losing their hair while undergoing chemotherapy. Now, this morning I am joined by Vanya, who's a survivor, and of course Mom Sylvia, as well as Dad Glenn. He decided to pop in as well. And then we have Alistair McCullough, who is a donor for leukemia. Now, good morning. Welcome again to the show. Lovely to have you here. Vanya, I want to find out from you, when you were going through leukemia and your mom and your dad were there, what was the hardest thing for you that you can remember?
The lumbar punch.
The lumbar punch. And what was hard about the lumbar punch for you?
Because I couldn't see what was happening and it was really sore.
So you couldn't see what was happening and it was quite sore. Okay, but Mommy and Daddy was there, so that was okay. Lovely. And then, of course, Dad Glenn, I think I can just move this over to you. As a father and, of course, as a family man, how did this affect your life?
Sure. The short story, I think after the shock and denial, you realize that you've got to stand together as a family and get on with, and tackle this beast.
Yes.
And it's amazing how much strength you can find in your family and friends.
That's true.
Especially in the children. They are so resilient to actually give you strength. And my daughter certainly did.
Now, something else that sort of sits in my head, people always say that when it comes to a time like this, it's amazing what positive healing and positive energy can do. Did you experience that as well?
Absolutely. Overnight, your priorities change. I won't say your values, but you reprioritize what's important. It's amazing. It's almost like a blessing that's sent from above.
Yes,
in that sense, it was very rewarding spiritually.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Glenn. I think you can also pass the mic over to Alistair. Now, Alistair, you are a donor. How exactly did you go about becoming a donor, and why did you decide so?
Okay, well, I was very young. I was 12 years old, and my brother had acute myeloid leukemia, and I obviously was a 5 out of 5 match. They tested all my siblings, but I was a perfect match. And it was obviously, that's the only reason, you're saving your brother's life. So I did that, and today he's perfectly healthy, 11 years later. And I think it's, you know, saving your brother's life is something that stays with you for a long time, and, you know, it's great.
Well, there's also a bit of a myth around the fact that this is quite, you know, is it quite a painful experience to actually go through the transplant itself?
Not at all. It's actually really simple. I mean, I was 12 years old, and I mean, I breezed through it. It's like a glorified blood transfusion. You know, it's donating blood. It's you sit and they take the blood out, and they take what they need from the blood, and they put the blood back in, and that's all there is to it.
Okay, well, we're going to chat to you in the next couple of minutes or so. Of course, eXpresso visited the Sunflower Fund, and we got chatting to a leukemia survivor and also a young boy who's in need of a donor. Take a look.
Great value is more than just a great price. That's why this segment is brought to you by Pick n Pay.
Meet 14-year-old Reza Price. He was diagnosed 1 week after his 11th birthday. Now every day is a precious gift as he waits on a bone marrow donor. Reza remembers the first time he felt sick.
It started actually a few years ago. I was feeling very tired. I couldn't feel my legs sometimes. My heart rate was off the charts. I couldn't see properly. My face was pale, like white. I was in the hospital for 3 days, and then they said that I had heart problems and bone marrow problems. So they diagnosed me with aplastic anemia. As soon as I heard that I had cancer, I just was heartbroken. I just cried out. I poured my eyes out. It's affected me in a physical way because I can't actually play sport, which is a downer for me because I love playing cricket, soccer, rugby, everything. And I can't play sport because my tissue in my skin is very sensitive. So if I get hit with the ball, I get bruises, and then they just start to swell up, and then it's just big bumps. It's also affected me emotionally because my doctor told me that some of the treatment that I'm getting will make me angry, will make me sad, will make me fight with my brother and sister, or just like sleep for, I don't know, like 2 days without waking up. It's just a bone marrow failure. The stem cells in my bone marrow aren't functioning properly, so it's not making me energy or blood or oxygen for the blood. And with that, I have to get blood transfusions every few weeks, every few days. Looking for a match right now hasn't been easy for my family because the only match for me is about 1 in 300,000, which is kind of scary.
Many days it's a lonely battle, as Reza can't risk going to social gatherings due to his compromised immune system. Another patient, Harvey Marks, is celebrating his 10th year in remission. He is dedicated to creating awareness.
We need to get more donors on the register, and that is why I'm helping the Sunflower Fund and talk about leukemia and talk about surviving. So people need to know it does work, there is hope. And the more people are on the register, the more chances there are of recovering and surviving leukemia or cancer in that regard. Well, to become a donor, it's a small prick. They take a teaspoon of blood, and then that will be tissue typed, and you go on a register. And when they do then call you one day, and maybe you are a match for a leukemia patient, then they'll do some more testing. But the actual transplant is actually nowadays a simple procedure. They take a needle in the one arm and in the other, and a machine takes your blood, and it separates the stem cells from the blood. So it's a painless procedure, and after 6-7 hours it's done, and you go home. But you know, the next day you're going to save somebody's life. So it's an amazing thing to do.
Leukemia is the most prevalent cancer among South African children, and sadly the chance of finding a matching donor is just 1 in 100,000. Suzanne Ackerman-Berman, Transformation Director of Pick n Pay, promotes awareness of their plight.
Suzanne, is it possible for your mom or dad or a sibling to be a donor for yourself?
It is definitely possible, but unfortunately it's not as easy as that. Because even though you are brother and sister, you don't necessarily have the same tissue or cell structure, so you can't be an identical match. So it's actually easier to search on the register for an absolute stranger who could be a closer match than your own brother or sister.
Now, I believe there is a cost involved.
Unfortunately, it's a big cost. Hence the reason we sell bandanas. Because there are hundreds and thousands of people out there in South Africa who want to be a donor, who want the opportunity to help someone with a little vial of blood to become a donor. But they can't afford the cost of the payment. So we raise the funds for the bone marrow register to go out there and seek donors who can't afford to pay for it.
In 1999, there were only about 800 donors on the SA Bone Marrow Registry. Through the fund's work of making it accessible, there's now close to 65,000 donors, but more are needed.
I'm actually very grateful for the Sunflower Fund helping me and my family and spreading the word that I'm actually needing a bone marrow transplant.
Wear your bandana today. It's available from Pick n Pay at only 20 Rand each. Funds that will help find bone marrow matches. To become a donor, visit sunflowerfund.org.za. Let's all share a little and save a life.
1 year of feel-good mornings with eXpresso.
Wow, absolutely fantastic work that the Sunflower Fund is doing, and I think definitely making a change in a lot of people's lives. Now, I'm also joined this morning by Dr Shahrock Nahrwar. Good morning, welcome again. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about the donor process itself?
Yes, the donor process, we usually look first for sibling donors. So we test the brothers or sisters of the patient. It's about a 25% chance that they will match. So if they don't match, then we have to look overseas or local donor registry. Now the local donor registry only has 65,000 donors for a country of almost 50 million inhabitants. And most of them are white, 75% white. And about 4% black, about 5% colored. So we need lots of more donors, and it's really a small price to pay. It's a small sacrifice for a huge gift that you will give to the patient. I mean, it's a couple of bloods taken, and the donor process itself is just either 2 drips on the arm, and you get some blood taken off, and it gets back to you, and the precious stem cells will be harvested in a little bag, and it will be given to the patient, and that's all that it takes.
So, of course, it's not a painful process itself to actually go through.
It's absolutely not a painful process.
And in terms of donors itself, if I were interested in becoming a donor, how would I go about it?
Yeah, the best way to do is that you contact the Sunflower Fund, and they will tell you exactly what to do.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, Vanya, I'm sure having gone through leukemia, you have something you'd like to say to the children out there who are going through leukemia themselves. What would you like to say?
Be brave, be strong, we all want to help.
Oh, I like that. Be brave, be strong. We all want to help. I think it's wonderful that all of you have joined us this morning. Thank you so much for enlightening us, for educating us and creating awareness around leukemia. And I'm sure that by doing so, we have enlightened other people's minds as well. Thank you so much. And of course, we have got musician Lisa Bronner with us in studio. I think she's going to be singing for us right now. Over to you.
Stay with eXpresso and SABC3.